And Darrell Hill, currently Kia, ranked 17th in the 400-meter dash. Darrell Hill is third in the shot put. We have 10 top 25 performances in the NCAA, and the women have won 3 straight Big Ten titles, and the men are currently ranked 5th in the nation. We'll open it up for questions.
Okay. So far this year, you had for this indoor season, you've had 6 indoor meets with only last couple meets of the season being outdoor, being away from home. How is that going to change next season when it almost takes a 180-degree turn when you're away most of the season and only have 1 meet at home?
Yeah. It's obviously, here at Penn State, we're very blessed to have the Ashenfelter Indoor Track and Field Facility, and I'm sure Kia and Darrell could tell you it's a great home to have and a great place to practice every day and as well as host very high-level competitions. And so it's very nice perk for us to have an indoor schedule where we're able to compete at home 4 of the first 5 weekends, and then we definitely like to get on the road once to experience what it's like to be on the road prior to the Big Ten championships, and that's what we're doing this weekend. We're actually heading to 3 different competitions all across the country. We have a group going to the Spire Center, which is in Geneva, Ohio, and where the Big Ten championships is actually held. We've got a group going down to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and competing at that facility. So where both of these student athletes will be competing this weekend. It's the site of the NCAA Indoor Championships, so it's important to get a good feel for that facility. And then we have some of our longer distance runners heading out to Seattle, Washington to a competition. So that's kind of how the indoor season will wrap up. And then, as you said, it's a 180-degree turn when you head to the outdoor season, where we're on the road most of the time. And one of the reasons is, I'm sure you all know what springs are like here in central Pennsylvania, and it's not much fun being an indoor or having an outdoor track meet the last weekend of March or the first weekend of April. You could get some weather that could be pretty skeptical. So having the nice home facility for indoors allows us to get on the road and chase the weather during the outdoor season to make sure that when we do compete that we're in places where we know we're going to get good weather to let our our student athletes have the best possible chance to produce at a high level.
How do you guys not become complacent over the course of the season, especially, I guess it's for all 3 of you, especially when you're performing so well over the course of the year?
I'll let these guys answer that one. You can start.
I mean, you just have to put it in your mind like that we haven't really achieved our goals. I know that myself and a lot of our teammates, we have really high aspirations for our team. It's like Big Ten championships, for example. Just knowing that, we're performing well, but we haven't kind of got to that point on that day and achieved that goal. As well as you're doing, it just means that you got to keep working hard and until you get to those goals, and then you just got to keep moving forward.
I feel as a women's team, after winning the last 3 Big Tens, we're not taking this for granted. We're not trying to come and defend a championship, as Coach says. We're trying to get a new one, so we can't be complacent because we know all our competitors are trying to get this new championship as well. So every day we have to work hard and even harder.
One of the things that's about our sport that's a lot different than many of the other sports is there's not really a wins-loss record, and a win-loss record can help keep a team driven, motivated to obviously be as successful as they can be. What we have in track and field is performance lists, and the kids in our program know that they can go and look and see where they rank in the Big Ten. They can look and see where they rank at the NCAA level, and what helps keep them driven is, hey, I want to be somebody who's in the top 10 at the Big Ten. And so they're driving each week to make sure their performances either stay there or get into that zone. Or I want to be someone who's top 16 in the NCAA because they know that's what makes the national championships at the end of the year. And so those things, along with, as they said, trying to focus on, winning a championship at the end of the season at the Big Ten meet, that keeps everybody on their toes.
What for you guys is the biggest difference between the indoor and the outdoor season?
Well, I'll answer first. There's obviously there's a variety of different events. We bring back into the fold the javelin throwers, who, they only get to compete during the outdoor season. There's the hammer throw replaces the weight throw. You have the steeplechase that comes into play, 3,000 meter steeplechase and the 10,000, which aren't indoor events. You also add the 4x1 relay, a sprint relay. So, you go from 17 events indoors to 21 events outdoors, and obviously the facilities are different, and you go onto a 400 meter track compared to a 200 meter track. So there's a lot is the same. It's whoever runs the fastest, throws the farthest, or jumps the furthest is the winners at the competitions, but it's just a different environment in terms of moving outdoors.
I really appreciate outdoor season because I'm actually like a 400 hurdler and they don't have that indoor. So as soon as we get to outdoor season, I feel like more comfortable, more at home. But I still really appreciate indoor season because there won't be a successful outdoor season without indoor season. So I really appreciate it. I really like that we're home for the indoor season the majority of the part because it is the beginning of the semester. So academically, it helps out a lot that we're home.
I personally just think the difference between outdoors and indoors is it's just a couple extra variables like weather, for example. Indoors, you can kind of guarantee everywhere you go is going to be, as we like to say, 70 and sunny in Ashenfelter. But outdoor season, it could be raining, it could be windy, it could be 98 degrees in Louisiana. So that's just one thing that adds on. But, outdoor season is also a little later than indoor season. So going through the whole indoor season, you're a little more prepared technically wise and physically for all those different variables. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Okay, I guess for Jarrell and Kia, how does going on the road change your preparation?
It's more exciting. It's fun. Like, you get to travel, like, the whole experience, it just gets you more prepared for, like, the real seasons, which is, like, Big Tens and NCAAs. We're not always going to be against our teammates and people that we know from around the area. We get the exposure to, feeling a real sense of pressure, and I like it. I embrace it.
I try to personally just keep it simple. Being here for majority of the indoor season, you develop a routine that you will go through for pre-meet meals and breakfast on that day, and your sleeping patterns, and the way you might iron your t-shirt, anything that's small like that. So going on the road, just preparation-wise, you just try to keep it as simple as possible to just make it as familiar as possible, even though it is different and the circumstances are a lot different being in a different facility. But if you just try to keep things as simple as possible, you should be able to compete well no matter where you go.
So the last indoor season is the USA Championships, right?
For the outdoor season,
The outdoor
yes.
season, yeah. How will having that extra meet tagged onto the season, especially after the NCAA Championships, how will that change how you move throughout practice during not only transitioning from indoor to outdoor, but through the outdoor season?
Well, the USA Championships is a special meet. Both of these athletes have been there to compete at it. There's very high qualifying standards, so to speak, to qualify. And so there'll only be about a handful of our student athletes in our program that qualify and advance onto the USA Championships. Obviously, the pinnacle of our season is the NCAA meet. That's the meet that we'll go and attempt to do our very best at. And it's almost, the USA meet is almost like a bonus in a lot of ways. It allows our student athletes at a young age to get exposed to professional level competition, and also puts them in a position to possibly qualify for what's called a Team USA event. Last year, both of these individuals made the NACAC Under-23 Championships in Kamloops, British Columbia, and the way they qualified for that was being at the USA Championships. And so this year is a world championship year, and if everybody has a successful season and you end up at the USA Championships and you compete well and you end up in the top three, who knows, maybe you make the world championship team. So it's a neat, special competition to kind of finish off the season for everybody.
Jarrell, why do you think you broke through with the 35-pound weight throw this weekend?
Well, actually, I think this past weekend, the biggest difference for the meet was it was a scored meet. So one thing we have been stressing for our team throughout the whole indoor season and off season is just being able to compete. Going into the weekend, I know I had to throw the weight throw, which is not really my best event. You know, something I'm working on to try to be able to compete at the Big Ten level. But being in a competition where it was relatively close and I wasn't having the best day that I would like to, but I knew that it was important to try to put it together and get a win for my team so that we can win the meet, which we lost last year. So, you know, it was just, I don't know, I just tried to put it together and it came through for me.
Coach, do you agree?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, both of these student athletes, what makes them who they are is they're great competitors. And, you know, Darrell obviously is one of the best shot putters in the country, and he picks up the weight throw this year, and it's something new for him, you know, and goes out there and he's already throwing 62, 63 feet in it. And, you know, for most conferences out there, that'd be a score. Unfortunately, the Big Ten is one of the best conferences in the country for the weight throw. Student athlete from Wisconsin just, what did he throw, 80 feet in the weight, and just set the collegiate record. And it's a very challenging conference in it. But as Darrell said, he wants to do whatever he can to help the team be successful. And, you know, picking up the weight, and maybe on that day some other people have off days and Darrell has a great day and he picks up a point or two. And as our women's team showed back, I believe, in either 2008 when we beat Michigan outdoors by a quarter point to win the Big Ten title, every little point counts. And so you just go out there and compete and do your best. Another example, Kia will probably go to the conference meet indoors and run the 200, the 400, and the 4x4. And, you know, there's trial rounds in each of those and a final as well. And so these two are special. They're captains. They want to do everything they can to make this a successful program. And they both show that with how hard they work and with the results they get.
Going off of that, can you talk about maybe some of the leadership that these two have shown for your men's and women's program so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, both have been nominated or elected as captains, and that comes not from the coaches, that comes from the student athletes who vote. And, you know, they're great team leaders at our team meetings, and, you know, they get up and stand and talk. And you know, what I tell the kids all the time, our younger kids especially, is you need to converse, you need to talk with, you need to spend time with our upperclassmen and our senior leadership who have been to the Big Ten meet before or who have been to an NCAA championship before and know what it's like, because your first time there, it can be intimidating. It can be something that you're just, if you're not 100% prepared for, you might not perform at your best. And you know, our upper class leadership and particularly these two have done a fantastic job helping our younger kids who have come into the program be prepared and be successful.
And for the student athletes, what did it mean to you to be elected as team captains by your peers?
Well, it was really an honor because I really wanted to be a captain ever since I got here, because I looked up to the captains that I had when I was a freshman. But it just means that it's another person just to motivate the athletes that's not their coach, somebody that's on their level, to just relate to them and help them feel encouragement when they're about to compete, because I've been here for the past 2 years and I really like that I had another teammate to look up to instead of just the coach. So I try to be that to my teammates.
It was just, I was really appreciative of it because I understand how important it is to have somebody to be able to confide in and look up to as far as training and motivational and anything. So, you know, just to be able to have my teammates vote for me. I didn't, you know, me and Kid didn't ask anyone to, you know, vote for us or anything like that. So to know that our teammates believed in us enough to put us in these positions to lead our team really meant a lot to me.
Anything else?
Can you talk a little bit about the experiences you had over the summer in Canada and how that kind of laid the groundwork for your different team members to come back over the summer, or in the fall rather, and in the spring here?
Well, as they mentioned, like, we had to qualify at the USA Championship with former Olympians and world champions, so I really appreciated that because, of course, I was nervous, but getting through that just showed me that I can possibly do it again in the future. And the meet in Canada was the most fun I've ever had at a track meet, and I really would love to do this as a career. And it really helped with my fall just because I was training throughout the summer, so we came right back, and I think I motivated some of my teammates to show them that, look, your teammate did it, you can too. So I was really happy about that moment.
I think the summer was a particularly long summer. Being able to go out to the Olympic Training Center and train with the best shot putters in the world and be able to compete for the United States at the NACAC Under-23 Championships really gave me a different outlook on the sport. It really made me appreciate, everything that I had here at Penn State, the wonderful opportunities that they gave to me, and that just knowing that I was able to compete with the best athletes in the world at the USA Championships. And I know that I had another year left at Penn State. It just gave me another level of thinking towards my training and trying to just share the knowledge that I gained with the rest of my teammates to try to bring us along and have a lot of successful performances for not only myself but for the young guys and build a foundation for the future for them. So it really just increased my mental capacity to another level for training.
Anything else? Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.